Hey divers, Alec Peirce again from Vintage Scuba. Interesting stuff from the history of scuba, from the old days. I hope you're enjoying these. Well, I know you're enjoying it. I'm getting lots and lots of comments. And I hope you're picking up some ideas as well. I know some of you guys have started talking about building certain things that I've mentioned and so on. I know it's a lot of fun. It's just fun. And if you're learning and having some fun watching these videos, then I'm happy. That's all they're for. They're just for fun. Anyway, today I want to talk to you a little bit about wetsuits, because wetsuits are a big part of scuba diving, as you know. I mean, I don't know any diver that hasn't worn a wetsuit. Every diver at some time or other gets a wetsuit. Certainly if you live in my part of the world, North America, you wear a wetsuit all the time. You wear a wetsuit. We dive under the ice, for gosh sakes. And people say, oh, that's for a dry suit. Yeah, you can wear a dry suit. But we wear wetsuits. A modern, good-fitting wetsuit will keep you perfectly warm, even diving in 30-degree water, 32-degree water. I guess it wouldn't be 30-degree water, would it? That'd be hockey. But anyway, a different sport. But we know we dive under the ice in a good 7 mil, old quarter-inch wetsuit, good fitting. And today, with the suits, are much, much better. I want to talk, however, about the old days, the old suits. So I started diving. I first went scuba diving in 1958. Took my scuba course in 1960, became certified. And scuba gear was crazy expensive. I couldn't begin to afford to buy new scuba gear. I was working at a fish and chip shop, folding newspapers, delivering fish and chips, peeling potatoes, and washing dishes, 25 cents an hour. I worked there for 2 years, and the owner came to me and gave me a 5-cent an hour raise and a free order of fish and chips every Friday. I drove all the way home, high speed, to tell my dad, knowing he'd be really proud of me. So 25 cents an hour, do the math. A wetsuit in those days cost about $75. This wasn't going to happen. There are other things that are more important. I did get a wetsuit, though, eventually. I got a hold of a fellow by the name of Honest Archie. Now, Honest Archie is gone. I think he's gone now. I spoke to his son not too long ago, Honest Archie's son. I've forgotten his name, unfortunately. Honest Archie owned a big, big dive store in Queens, in Jamaica, actually New York, close to Queens, and called Central Skin Divers. It's still there. I don't know about the old store. It was there when I last spoke to them, the store in Queens, but they have a new store close to Times Square. So maybe if you're down in Manhattan, if you're in New York City sometime, and you got a few minutes, look up Central Skin Divers. Good name. And they've been around for a long time. Well, obviously to be almost 100, almost 60, 70 years now, because we're talking the 60s when I spoke to them. They used to have a full-page ad every month in Skin Diver magazine. It was neat, and it was kind of like an Honest Ed's or a Harbor Freight type ad with line diagrams on it, Central Skin Divers, and prices on there, and good prices too. Oh, you buy a scuba tank for $100. You can buy a scuba tank today for $100. They haven't gone up very much, but anyway, pretty cheap. And they had a mail order. They had a coupon at the bottom. You could fill it out with your name at it. I bought my first fins from Honest Archie. Yep, an old pair of UDT training duck feet fins, $9.95. That's right, I put $10 in an envelope and sent it off to Honest Archie with the coupon filled out. He sent me back the fins and he sent me back $1. The Canadian dollar in those days was worth more than the American dollar. It was for most of the time. No tax, different world. But anyway, I also got my first wetsuit from Honest Archie. That's right. Now that's not exactly true. I didn't get a wetsuit from, I got a wetsuit kit. See, a wetsuit cost about $30 or $40, quite a bit. A complete wetsuit, a cheap one. And I didn't have that much money, but you could buy a wetsuit kit for about $19.95. Yeah, a wetsuit kit, that's right. And when the box arrived, I hope, I remember I was only about 10, 11, 12 years old, so it was exciting, Christmas in June. I opened it up, wow, and I got a nice roll of this black rubber, 1/4 inch thick. They were called 1/4 inch. Now they're called 7 mil, but they're called 1/4 inch. So this is 1/4 inch rubber on both sides. No nylon, no cloth on it. Rubber on both sides. And I got the roll it all out, you see. And then there was a big brown sheet of paper, brown paper. Got that out too. And there was a sheet of instructions and a bottle of glue. That's exactly right. And so I read the instructions very carefully, and my mom helped me, and I laid down on the brown paper, and Mom drew a pattern around me, and we very carefully cut the rubber, and we glued it together. Made our own wetsuit. Yeah, and I used it. I used it right up here in Ontario, Canada, diving in Fenland Falls and all the Kawartha lakes. Those lakes are like about 65 to 70 degrees in the summertime. Great. And with my quarter-inch wetsuit, I used that suit for many, many years. Eventually, I was able to buy a real wetsuit, a made wetsuit, if you like, and I used that for many, many years as well. In fact, here's my suit. This is my production suit. This is not the homemade one that I made. I don't know where that is now, but this is my production suit. I don't know exactly where I purchased this suit. I don't think it was on us actually, but this is it. So this is what we had in those days. I'm talking now the 60s. Let's call this the 60s. So this is rubber. It's rubber. You can tell it's rubber. It's shiny. Can you see the shine on there? And two sleeves, and a back, and a front. 4 pieces, and they're glued together. And no stitching. Just glued together. And then down at the bottom of the back, you see here, at the bottom of the back, there's this neat extension down here, which is called a beaver tail. Now, that's not a Canadian name. We didn't make that up. Just because the beaver is our national animal, no, this is called the beaver tail everywhere. Throughout the United States and around the world, this is called the beaver tail. I don't think you can see why, if you know anything about a beaver. Small animal, big flat tail. Yeah, anyway, this is called the beaver tail. And so you put the jacket on, unzip it, add a zipper on the front, steel zipper. You put the jacket on, and then you reach down between your legs, and you pull this beaver tail up nice and snug, and the beaver tail came up in front, and it fastened in here with what were called twist locks. You see, they go through the hole, and you can see that kid go through the hole, and they give them a quarter twist, and you're locked in place. And this kept the suit down where it belonged. Made it extra warm. Now you had to do that. You had to do that because these early suits, we didn't have what you call, you know the term, Farmer John suits. Today, the suit, the pants, you put them on and they go from your ankles, your whole body right up, and then they come right up to your shoulders and they strap over your shoulders. We didn't have those. We had what were called high-waisted pants. High pants, or high-waist pants, you see? So these are the pants, like this. 2 pieces. That's right. Left side, right side. Glued down, around, and up the back. 2 pieces. There's not a whole lot of custom fitting here, folks. There's 2 pieces. So if you happen to be a fairly regular size, height, weight, and so on, reasonable, proportional, and so you ordered a medium or whatever size it was, it fit pretty well. If you were extra long, or you had extra big shoulders, or a tummy, no, the wetsuits didn't fit nearly as well. But they weren't very stretchy back then either. You see here, they try to stretch the suit, and it stretches a little bit. It was made of rubber, but not very good. Now this particular suit, this custom-made suit that I have here, had a couple of extras on it. It had this yellow is just on there for looks. There's no seam under there. Had zippers on the legs as well, because again, this rubber doesn't stretch very well. So to get the suits on, we would have zippers often on the legs. Sometimes they had zippers on the wrist. Here's another one I'm going to show you in a second, has zippers on the wrist. So it wasn't uncommon to have zippers on your wrist and zippers on the legs, because again, the rubber didn't stretch the way it does today. Today, you can get a medium. I can wear a medium. Medium large is my size, or a large. And all 3 suits fit me really well. The medium is tight, but it works perfectly. It stretches. Medium large is perfect. And the large, a little bit big on me, but it still fits really well and works well as a wetsuit. Today, suits are so stretchy, it's crazy. You grab the sleeve of a modern wetsuit, you can go like this. Not in the old days. You grab this and you get maybe an inch of stretch out of it. So that's what they looked like in the old days. I want to show you this suit here. This is a little bit different. I don't know if it's better or worse or not, but you see they've replaced those twist locks. Those little twist locks could be a bit of a nuisance. On this particular suit, they replaced them with ordinary snaps. Now I know these snaps are not perfect either, because if you wore these snaps in salt water, then you know how those snaps work. Maybe you've never looked at one closely, but in the female portion, the whole portion, there's a little ring, a little steel spring ring. And if you didn't keep them nice and clean and lubricated, they would fail pretty soon and they wouldn't snap in. This one is still working pretty well, but that's about the only difference. It's the same type of suit. And you can see that it is, in fact, quite frankly, there's rubber on the inside and the out. You see it's shiny on the rubber on the inside and out, both sides. This suit has a couple of other features. This suit was actually made by Healthways. You can see the badge on there. Big company, very popular company. High-waisted pants again. It's a pair of pants with high waist on it, leg zippers on it. But look here, this is kind of neat. And these are features that you could purchase. There were a couple of different decals that you could purchase, and they would be ironed on with heat onto the rubber suit, glued on with heat. Look at here. Can you get in closer, Kevin, and see what I had on my sleeve of this suit? That's right. It's my no decompression table, right there handy for you. You know, today we have plastic dive tables to take down with you if you need to, and you can keep track of your depth and time and refer to them if you want to. Well, there's an even better idea right on the sleeve of your wetsuit. Great idea. You should have that today. Maybe not. And actually, you're not supposed to look at this underwater. You're supposed to pre-plan your dives very carefully. But it was a kind of a nice feature. It was kind of cool. So there is a couple of old suits. Now, the very first big innovation that came along with these suits has nothing to do with the actual suit itself. It has more to do with the convenience. You see, with these rubber suits, there were several things that were aggravating, but the biggest, most obvious aggravation or irritation with them was that rubber stuck to your body. So it was very, very difficult to get the suit off and on, particularly if it was a tight fit. You know, as you begin to grow a little bit, you're trying to use your suit from 2 or 3 or 5 years ago, get harder and harder to get it on. And so the rubber clung to your body, made it very difficult to get it on. So we used to use different things. The suits would actually come with a little bag of talcum powder. That's right. And if you went into your local dive store, you could buy a little plastic bottle of talcum powder. Some of them actually had a squirt nozzle on them, so you can spray them on. There are different names. Slip-Ease, or Slip-E-Z-E, so I guess it'd be Slip-Easy. Slip-Easy was one brand I recall. Slip-Easy. And so you'd spray your body, and spray inside the suit, spray inside the sleeves, and then it would slip on easily. It would slip on much more easily with that talcum powder. It didn't work very well when you were wet. So for the second dive of the day, if the suit was still wet and you were still wet, it didn't work really well. So it wasn't perfect. But then, I don't know who it was. I don't know who the first diver was that put on pantyhose. But somebody who was very, very confident in their masculinity said, "Mom, can I have a pair of pantyhose, please?" And he put on his mom's pantyhose. No, don't hang up. And he found that with that nylon against his body, the wetsuit slipped right on. It was amazing. Pretty soon, everybody was doing it. Not me. Not me. I never wore pantyhose. But lots of divers I know wore pantyhose, and they would be able to get the suit on and off, wet or not. It didn't matter. With that nylon on your body, the rubber slipped right over it. Well, guess what? Yep. Pretty soon, the wetsuit manufacturer said, "Hold on a minute. We could put nylon in the inside of the suits. And if we had nylon in our suits, we could sell them. They would stop buying those other guys. They'd buy just our suits, sure enough." And so in almost no time at all, nylon-lined suits came along. It was called nylon one side. I'll explain why in a minute. First of all, they were called nylon lined. Now this suit, the very first suit that I showed you here, my suit, actually is nylon lined. You can see the difference. There's the inside of the suit versus the outside. You can see how the outside is shiny, rubber, and the inside is dull. This is actually nylon. It's black. It's hard to see, but you can see there's a difference. This is actually nylon lined. So somehow, I don't know how they did it, but somehow they during the manufacturing process, they were able to attach nylon, stretchy nylon, to the inside of the suit. And then they made the suit from that nylon lined wetsuit material. And it was great. Oh, it's fantastic. It made suits much, much more easily get on, easy to get on. So you didn't have to repairing. You see, you get your fingernail in the suit trying to get the darn thing on. You cut holes in the suit. But with the nylon lining, made it so much easier. And then eventually somebody said, well, you know, we're still, the outside of the suit is getting torn and the outside of the suit is getting nicks and scratches in it. What would happen if we put nylon on the outside? So, okay, let's give it a. So now they have, today's suits have nylon on both sides. That's what they call nylon two-side. So originally the suit was rubber, okay, just rubber, called skin actually, skin two-side. And then they put nylon on the inside, and that suit was marketed as a nylon-lined suit. It eventually became called nylon one side, and that one side was obviously the inside. And then eventually they put nylon on the outside, gave it strength and durability, and that was called nylon two-side. So rubber or skin two-side, and then nylon one side, and then nylon two-side. And then of course they started to get really fancy, and they started to, they said, we don't have to make it just black nylon, we can make it a pretty color. And the divers would notice that, and they would say, hey, you know, so-and-so company has whatever. I remember there was one company, I forget the name of it now, who and all their nylon was purple, a really attractive purple. But you could see the divers taking their suits out. Oh yeah, he's got one. You see all the purple suits. More common colors were blue, very common. Sometimes red, sometimes yellow, and so on. So the nylon, they started to color it. And now today, as you know, you walk into a modern dive store and you see all kinds of colors and patterns and all kinds of stuff on it. I'm going to show you a suit. Let me show you a suit right here. I put it down here so it wouldn't distract you. This is a suit from the 60s. Yeah, I know. Put your sunglasses on. It's crazy, huh? Well, this is, believe it or not, this is a nylon suit. Nylon on the outside, and this particular, look, it's still got twist locks. Yep, steel zipper. This particular company went crazy, of course. But remember, this was the 60s. Remember 60s? Yeah. Hippies? You've heard the term hippies? Yeah. So there you go, with a hippie suit from the 60s. Wetsuit jacket. This is for warm water, obviously. It's not 7 mils, not quarter inch. This was actually 3/16, which we call 5 mil today. Not the thin one like 3 mil or the thick one 7 mil, but the one in between 5 mil. They used to be quarter inch, 3/16, and 1/8 inch suits. 1/8 inch for warm water. This is in the middle. So there's a pretty crazy suit from the 60s. It even had a little collar on it too. Pretty crazy suit. But with the nylon, they could do that. You couldn't do that with rubber, you see. Okay, so let me show you one more thing before I close up. Here's a suit. This is rubber. See, the outside is rubber. Yeah, and it has a zipper, and it has twist locks, good old-fashioned twist locks, a beaver tail, and twist locks, look at that. Yeah, and the pants for this suit are high pants. And here's the hood, because this is what our hoods look like as well. The hoods were 2 pieces, left side, right side, glued down the middle, and you pop this on, and it didn't have a big bib on the way they do now. It's just sort of tucked in to the short collar that was on the suit. So this suit is exactly the same style as the suits that I've shown you, exactly the same style as the suits that came out in the 50s and 60s. This suit's a replica or reproduction of an old-fashioned suit. Any idea whose suit this is? Well, I mean, it's my suit. It is my suit. It fits me. But where did this particular suit come from in this bright silver color? Right, you got it. This is the suit that Mike Nelson wore in Sea Hunt. And these are the suits that I've had made for a number of the divers doing our Sea Hunt scenarios. So when they have this suit on, they look just like Mike Nelson. Wow, some of them are kind of short and fat, but anyway, that's not the point. With this suit on, it looks like a Mike Nelson suit. And you can get reproduction suits made today, silver if you want, or plain black, so that you can actually get what looks to be a vintage wetsuit. Now, the thing I haven't mentioned is the yellow stripes. Well, you didn't have to have yellow stripes. You see, this suit has black stripes, black striping on there. Well, what that originally was is reinforcement for the seams. So they would very commonly put this thin piece of rubber and glue it over the seams to give them extra strength. Because it was rubber, they couldn't stitch it. You can't stitch rubber, you can only stitch nylon. So until nylon came around, there was no stitching to hold these seams together. So they would put this thin strip of rubber over the suit. When I got my suit from Honest Archie, it came with a roll of black. Mine was black piping, black rubber. If you like. So it's just rubber strip. I don't know if you can see it close in the closer. Just a thin piece of yellow stripe. And after you got the suit all made and all the seams were dry, you see, then you would roll this strip out and put it on. Well, eventually it became decoration. So this suit has lots of decoration on it, you see. So I don't know, it makes the suit distinctive, makes it this diver's suit itself. Some divers actually put their name on it. So you might see Dan done in yellow striping on it. Just a neat thing to do. That's all it was. There you go, folks. Bit of information about wetsuits back in the day, in the 50s and 60s. So when you go into a new dive store, into a modern dive store, you take a look at the new suits, the one-piece, beautiful one-piece suits, and they're so stretchy and warm and very inexpensive too. Remember, these suits, a nice one, sold for $75 in the early 60s. You can now buy a fantastic suit, much, much better, stretchy, good-looking, and one-piece suit to keep you warm even under the ice for about $250, sometimes less than that, a good brand name quality. That's not much of an increase over 50 or 60 years. So they're a pretty good deal too. But that's what they looked like in the old days. I hope that's helped a little bit, helped you understand where wetsuits came from. The next time you're at a vintage dive site and you see a guy in one of these suits, take a close look at it. See if he has a beaver tail. Okay, guys, hope that was interesting. Send me some comments, some questions. You probably have one of these in your closet, some of you old guys. Eric, you probably have one of these in your closet. Let me know if you do. Take care. Alec, Peirce, Vintage Scuba. Bye-bye.